Hello and thanks for joining the first edition of Journalist Hangout. This week, I am Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, APC State Congress end amidst crisis as Okorocha boasts he could win on APGA tickets in 2019. Governor Nasir El-Rufai vows to challenge PDP's victory in Kaduna local government election. Bandits abduct 3 housewives in Baganda, Beningwari, as killings in Middle Belt lead to 20,000 widows and orphans. And later on the show, panic as former PDP national spokesman Olisa Metu collapses in court. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Martins Oloja. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Nice to have you. It's sad that politics in Nigeria is defined by parochial interest and personal gain. This could best describe the intrigues, confusion, and mustlangings that greeted the conduct of the State Congress by the All Progressive Congress nationwide. The exercise meant to elect state party executives witnessed parallel sessions in most states as party chieftains continue to battle for the control of their respective states. The widening cracks within the APC is beginning to take dangerous twists. In Imo State, Governor Rochas Okorocha is already muting the idea of joining another platform to realize his interest in 2019. He boasted that he could win an APGA ticket even when all political gladiators in the states are not in his sight. Now, we ask, is Okorocha already throwing in the towel? Let's watch this special report on how APC State Congress was conducted. The congresses in many states show a party unable to resolve its differences as parallel congresses were held in many states. They took place both in states governed by the APC and those governed by opposition parties. The fractured nature of the party in many states is also symptomatic of the rifts among top leaders of the party, including those holding sensitive elective positions. In Ondo State, 2 state executives emerged at parallel congresses held at different venues in the states. Ade Adetimehin emerged as the state chairman of the APC at the congress attended by the state governor, Rotimi Akeredolu. The rival faction elected Otetumbi as the state chairman at another congress.
Having voted me in as newly elected chairman of our party in Ondo State, my promise is I will keep the flag flying.
I can promise you that we are going to build a very strong, virile and united party, APC in Ondo State.
Despite the attack, people are macheted, people are attacked, and you can still see that people came from all over the state to still hold the Congress because this is dear to our people.
Since 1999, the dominant party in Lagos State has never had any serious crisis, but some aggrieved members of the All Progressive Congress are bent on rocking the boat. A faction allegedly led by former Lagos State Transport Commissioner Muiz Banire and other disgruntled persons converge on the Lagos Airport Hotel to hold a parallel congress.
What we have done here is just, things in tandem and in compliance with the Electoral Act, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, the constitution of our party, and the guidelines for the conduct of congresses.
The mainstream Lagos APC gathered at Acme Road, Ikeja, secretariat of the party to elect its new leaders. A representative of the Congress committee led by Senator Uche Ekwenife and the representative of the Independent National Electoral Commission were on ground to witness the event.
I have an irrevocable commitment to take APC to the next level.
The story was not different in Kwara State as a faction loyal to the Senate President Abubakar Bukola Saraki and another allegedly led by Information Minister Alhaji Lai Mohammed battled for the soul of the party in the state. In Taraba State, the Congress was suspended indefinitely as some election committee members were said to have been assaulted by some hoodlums. The lingering crisis within the party in Adamawa State festered as Honorable Ezra Dimas and Ibrahim Bilal emerged as factional chairmen of the party. In all, 10 states had parallel congresses across the country. The National Publicity Secretary of the party, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, says the party's national leadership would not recognize any parallel congress apart from the one recognized by the Congress committees charged by the party to organize such in the states. With the 2019 elections drawing ever closer, it's yet to be seen how the ruling party will resolve its lingering crisis in at least 28 states. Wow, the tale of the All Progressive Congress. We saw this coming. Since 2015, they've not been able to do anything like this. They've not been able to hold a national convention. Babajide, now we're at the verge of holding, they are at the verge of holding a national convention. And some people will say, we told Mr. President, the arguments of the likes of Moise Banere and the argument of the Oyegun faction and John Oyegun himself was that, look, we can't go to presidential primaries by October and we'll are able to accommodate this kind of crisis. This parallel Congress, like the one we had in Lagos now, yes, it's laughable. It's, you know, so let me ask you, Babajide, is this a man-made thing or politicians are doing what they know how to do best, just to create that impression out there?
Oh, okay, let me first start by addressing what people like Moise Banere are likely to stand on the rooftops and be thumping their chests and saying that, oh, we told them that it was risky to organize congresses. But we've had a judge just last week who ruled that affirm in his ruling that it will have been against the constitution of the country and the constitution of the APC to not have congresses. Because what they were planning before was, you know, they remember the letter that they sent to INEC, which even key people in the ESCO of the party were not even aware of. The letter they wrote to INEC, they indicated in it that they were going to fill vacancies created by appointments and the rest of that. But you know that the Constitution says, look, after every 4 years, there must be congresses. So if you sit in one little corner of Abuja and you just proclaim that, oh, all of you, John Oyegun and other people are continue. Because what they were going to do was, by fiat, give extended tenure to those holding positions, elective positions in the 36 states of the country, and right up to ward level. Yeah. So it's not even about Baba Oyegun alone that we are talking about, these people. Fundamental. That everybody will have benefited from the tenure elongation. So whatever it is, we are saying that, and that was the point that the Vice President made, that look, it will have been unconstitutional. And if anyone went to court, the President wondered, if anyone went to court, the APC stood to lose out at the end of the day. Because, look, the PDP or any other party could just go to court, and everything that you did will have been rendered a nullity. And the Vice President also gave an example of what happened in Kano, where someone got into an elected position illegally, and the court ruled that he should vacate the position. So for anybody who is not out to be mischievous, what the president did was right in calling for the constitution of the party to be obeyed. Now, the same governors, we've talked about their selfishness for so long here. I don't think that the president or anybody can do anything about the selfish nature of today's generation of governors, because it's right in their blood. Nobody can do anything about it. They have now gone ahead to do what they had wanted to do all along. So it's not a question of, maybe the president spoke, this and they made up their minds that, okay, you do not want to allow this tenure extension to take place. We will now do it. And then they've gathered people.
Consensus.
Yes, they've gathered people and they are, by affirmation, tell me where real election took place. Is this democracy at the end of the day? You are looking, you belong to a party. You've given the party your all. You sacrifice for the party. You sweated for the party. And you are looking at someone who occupies one position in that party who is grossly incompetent, but because of some selfish governors, you are unable to challenge that person. So you ask yourself, why are you in that party? If there's a party where people cannot legitimately aspire to any position, then something is wrong with that party. Well, this is what these governors are doing, to ensure that, look, they just have their way. And politics is an inclusive sport. It's an inclusive game. But we have a situation in which these governors are chasing people away. No, if I don't want you, you don't belong in the party. That is what they are doing.
Some will even tell a senator that that's the end of your political career.
No, they are even saying, oh, some people are this one has come from here. But they, as hypocritical as they are, we see them go to pick Atoniwa from elsewhere and make Atoniwa deputy governor and make Atoniwa senators, but someone else cannot have the same head as the so-called Atoniwa.
The takeovers of this world.
I just don't understand why are Nigerian governors this selfish? What is in the DNA of the Nigerian governor? What is the makeup of the Nigerian governor that they are this selfish? Because, look, everything that we are talking about, the implosion, the imminent implosion of APC, it is the governors that we are going to blame. A lot of them can't even win any free and fair election. All they can use is force. You see, we see what they do at local government level.
Martin, what is happening to my people, Governor Rochas Okorocha? Because now apparently he tried to stop the state congress by going to court, and the Ararumes of this world, they went ahead. The congress was held, and they returned the previous executive, especially the chairman of the party. And from the looks of things, all is not looking too well for Governor Rochas Okorocha.
You know, it is not just about Governor Rochas Okorocha, just as Jide said. It is that's just a definition of the trouble with democracy in Nigeria. It's just, Okorocha is just like one of the governors. It's just that the forces against him, they are so overwhelming that he can't have his ways even talking about APGA. Now that he will use APGA and he will win. But
the chairman of APC governors forum could, not that he will.
Yes,
that he could.
He could win, yes. So what happened is that it's not a laughing matter. The implosion, he used the word implosion, could also kill democracy in Nigeria, because that is the ruling party. The Falcons there cannot hear the Falconers. And mere anarchy, as Chino Achebe will have put it, is loosed upon the world.
The center cannot
and
hold.
the center cannot hold. What happens? Things fall apart. And it will be a tragedy. And as we are saying now that this is what happened, as you said, since 2015, they have not been able to put their house in order. The house has been divided against itself since 2015, even from the National Assembly elections, the election that brought the presiding officers. And you can see there has been no peace in that sector, in that at the National Assembly, where the ruling party, this is getting to the end of May. They are just talking about passing the budget of 2018 with the implications on the economy. So many candidates are at the National Assembly, they cannot even clear them. Look at National Assembly officers flying in various directions of various factions of even this one. The president of the Senate in Kwara organized one. Even Dogara speaking in tongues in Bauchi. So many of the presiding officers in National Assembly who are supposed to be top members of the party. I think we've been discussing this thing almost every week when they discuss this in here about party organization, about problem with the party. You know, and this has impacted negatively on governance in Nigeria, because it is not for any trite reason that the Constitution mentions that you cannot be anything unless you pass through a political party platform. And the political parties are not organized. You do not know the difference between APC and PDP in Nigeria. People are crossing just by just getting angry within minutes. You cross over to another one. You don't know what the difference between APC and PDP. This is not a laughing matter, and it is threatening democracy in Nigeria.
Babajide, the surprise of the whole Congress is that is Lagos States. They've had a successful World Congress. They've had a successful local government Congress. All of a sudden, the faction just came from the blues. That's, you know, we have faction APC in Lagos. They've broken to two and everything. But meanwhile, all the members of the National Assembly, all principal officers of the party from Lagos State, they were all at Acme Road. And this funny character called Fuad Oki just said the party has broken to two, and he chose his own executive, and we're told that there are some guys from Abuja and that some other people are actually pulling the string. What's the problem in Lagos APC?
Well, you are surprised. I am not surprised, because I expected them to put on a show. A long time ago, I know that there are so many of them who are very angry. They don't like what's going on. They don't like the fact that they no longer matter in the scheme of things in Lagos. Because that's the fact. They don't matter anymore. Amongst the people like the National Legal Advisor of the APC, you have people who have lost electoral value suddenly. Because the thing about the Southwest is, once you move out of the mainstream, you get dealt with. The people don't even want to talk about you anymore. There's no election that you can contest that you win. It's a fact.
Some of them have never contested any election.
They can try now. Let's see. Once you move out of the mainstream, remember, I've given the example of Ebenezer Abatokwe.
Ebino Topsy.
Ebino Topsy was in charge of the organization of
UPN.
He was in charge of the organization. But what happened? Once he stepped out of the mainstream, the people treated him like a pariah. And now those of them in the faction that organized the little Congress, because look, I'm not going to say that they didn't, that they were stupid to have organized a Congress. They've seen other people organize it. But the question to ask, you see, the futility of what they have done is in the fact that they didn't organize a World Congress. This thing is like a pyramid. So what is this one designed to achieve? The only thing it's designed to achieve is to touch a nerve. Maybe touch somebody's nerve in Bodilon or somewhere. That's just what it's meant to achieve. Because this is absolutely a meaningless and a waste of time. If they had done parallel World Congress, at least we will have seen that, yes, these guys are there. If they had done state Congress.
Local government Congress.
Because even if you didn't do all of that, then you waited for state alone. How do you run without the two? In fact, the World Congress is the most important of all.
And you want to do for convention.
It's the most important of all.
Who is going to go for the convention?
Once you grab the world, once you grab the structures at the world level, there is no primary election that you cannot win. And then they chose not to take part in that. They didn't show. It was at that when they got to states, they now say, the people who are doing parallel congresses in Adamawa and other places, they don't have two heads now. Let us do it too. And then you are doing it. They just wasted their time. But you see, if not for the internal contradictions of the APC, all of these things won't be happening. So Fuad Oki can stand on the highest part of Lagos and say, look, I'm a chairman. But he knows in his heart that he's a joker. Because where are the structures that you have at the grassroots level? Show us now. This was just meant to send a signal, just to embarrass one or two people. That's all. And I'm happy that the people that they want to embarrass are behaving like that was a non-event. Because that's the way to treat politicians who in the real sense do not exist. That's the way to treat them. Treat what they have done like they didn't do it. That's the way they are treating them. Nobody will bother themselves about what they have done, because it's not going to achieve anything at the end of the day. If you want to seize the structures of the APC in Lagos, you need to put up a better showing. You must have started from the base. It's just like someone, like some people attempting to have a national convention of their own without taking part in the other the congresses. You are not going to achieve anything at the end of the day. So, well, at the end of the day, what matters is for the party to see how they can organize themselves and bring agreed people together. We innocent journalists that they are beating us like goats.
In Ondo State.
In Ondo State. We are doing our job. You can't be beating people. What is the fault of the journalists who went to cover an event?
I ended up in hospital.
And then you are beating people. They beat up so many journalists. Injured people, send them to hospital. We don't want that. We need something better than that from the ruling party. The ruling party in Nigeria should organize itself and not turn itself to a laughing stock. And they should not be beating us journalists. We are doing our work.
Abi?
We are doing our work. If we see you people, you disagree, we report your disagreement.
That's news to us.
By that, we have done nothing wrong.
Okafor is calling us from Abuja.
Yes, good evening, House.
Good evening, Okafor.
Yes, I want to appreciate you guys for job well done. You're doing a very good job. And Babajide, well done.
Thank you,
Mr. Helson, I've forgotten his name. Well done too. Yes.
Thank you.
The presenter, you are showing so much passion as if you're a member of the PC. You are calling somebody who exercised his own a funny character. It's not proper. It's not learned from Babajide. He gives you the facts and talks like he's always neutral. When you call somebody a funny character, it's not good.
No, it was wrong. It was wrong.
Politicians have refused to be mature about it. Just like Mr. Gentleman said, they have no ideology. They keep jumping from here to here. Tomorrow they will still jump back. It's a shame for a state governor and the so-called chairman of the progressive governors to be thinking of going to another political party just because he has lost
he didn't say
when
that.
he thought he was the god in the Imo State. You see, these things happen when you carry yourself above those who made you what you are. There is no way Richard can win anything in Imo State. So please, I want to encourage, let us try to be, as a presenter, let us be fair, just like Babajide in the studio.
Thank you, Okafor. Thank you, and we appreciate your correction. Still to come, Governor Nasiru El-Rufai vows to challenge PDP's victory in Kaduna local government election. We'll be right back after this time out. It's still Journalist Hangout. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's your groundbreaking program of the year, Journalist Hangout. The last may not have been heard yet about the recently concluded local government election in Kaduna State. The All Progressives Congress, APC, claimed victory, winning 14 chairmanship seats against PDP's 4. With election results in 5 council areas yet to be determined, but in a typical winner-takes-all syndrome, Governor Nasiru El-Rufai has vowed to challenge the victory of the People's Democratic Party in court. Why? He said he tried to cheat even when the APC were magnanimous enough to give them justice in the contest. But the PDP is also feeling dissatisfied. Who is cheating who? Martin, I don't know. For when I saw the results, I was kind of shocked because I think the APC in Kaduna State, they've decided not to act like every other state governors that have been seen. The winner takes off something. They still have to give 4 local governments. But Nasiru El-Rufai still be complaining after that exercise.
And the reason is the syndrome you already mentioned, winner takes it all. You know, in local government election here, that's why most people that are even calling for federalism are asking that National Electoral Commission, the Independent National Electoral Commission, should conduct election because they always win. They won in Oyo State, they won all. Everywhere they win. So every Friday is feeling like, why can't I win all as my colleagues? That winner
because some will even just write it outside.
Yes, the winner takes it all. The one they did in Kwara State, the one they did everywhere. Even the people are still complaining about Kwara. And all over the place, they win. So he's doing that. But my worry is what Chief Oladipekun, you know, is an expert in election petition management as a lawyer. Well, in 2004 or thereabouts, in Abuja, he complained that we are yielding the majesty of democracy to court decision. That, you know, they know him, he has made some money from election petition. But, you know, the one of Rivers State, nobody voted for Rotimi Amechi as governor of Rivers State. Nobody. All these issues, pre-election issues, court decided it and made him governor. And this is El-Rufai is now, instead of organizing this conflict resolution mechanism, instead of organizing the state, instead of organizing the APC, is still going to challenge the victory of the opposition in court. I think it is not necessary. He should just organize his own party. He should move on. Local government election, 4 to 14, even though there are still some that are yet to be decided. I think he should not allow that one to occupy his time. They have more time to do more serious things rather than challenging this kind of thing in court.
Governor Nasir El-Rufai is always like a step ahead of others. I like him when it comes to innovations, development, and everything. I saw the electronic machine. Yeah. Yes, you still throw it. You still have to throw it at the inside the ballot this thing, but to print out, you just choose your party with the machine. Pam. You still throw it at the ballot business, and at the end of the day, we'll see how complaint, Jide.
I'm absolutely unbothered about the machines that he has brought. I'm more concerned about the fidelity of the process. Ask anyone who fears God, who is resident in Kaduna, who took part in this election. Ask him whether these elections were totally free and fair. Because the electronic voting machine would not take the place of our hearts. The desire to cheat resides in our hearts. So it's possible for the electronic machine to do it. If you like, bring a 4K electronic machine. At the end of the day, it doesn't stop rigging. Go back to what happened in Kenya. Electronic voting machines were used, but they were also manipulated and rigging took place. It's one of the reasons the opposition is very angry. So it does not insulate us against rigging. It does not defeat rigging in any way. Because look, the result at this point can be correct. But when it's transmitted, at the point when it's transmitted and the real result announced, then the Nigerian factor comes in. And that is the fear that many people have. That's why many people are not excited. Because there are people who think that, look, if some of the results had not been manipulated, then the outcome would have been different. I didn't want to believe that the elections were rigged or that there were imperfections and all that, until El-Rufai with his own mouth now began to say that the PDP, they try to cheat, that they have no integrity, they do not, we try to give them justice. Can you imagine? You try to give them justice. The justice that you are talking about resides in the people, not you. So you are saying that we allow them to win 4 local government. That's your own view. We try to give them justice.
That's enough.
So if he organized this election and he is not convinced about the fidelity of the process that he organized, he's thinking that rigging took place in an election that he organized. Yes. So what if he didn't organize it?
And he chose the State Electoral Commission
He organized it. So the thing is, what if it was someone else that organized it? What will El-Rufai say? This is something that he organized, though.
It's under your nose.
And he's saying that, oh, rigging took place. It will set a record. Because, look, this is not the first time the opposition would win some local government seats. Let's not give him a credit that he does not deserve. Al-Makura in Nasarawa State. CPC governor. What did we have? PDP did very well in the local government election.
I remember.
Under Al-Makura's watch.
Yeah.
And he didn't use an electronic voting machine. Electronic voting machine does not stop people from being arrested if they do not cooperate. Because that is how we rig in our country. Electoral officers can be arrested if they don't cooperate. Electronic machine cannot stop. Electronic voting machine cannot stop that. Electronic voting machine cannot stop an arbiter who has made up his mind that at the point when this thing comes to me, I'm going to change the figures. The machine cannot stop it. See, the hunger to cheat resides in our hearts. Until we do something about that, El-Rufai can bring in even electronic voting machine manufactured in heaven. It will not change anything.
Johnson is calling us from Kaduna.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us, Johnson.
Yeah, please, let me just quickly make my contribution.
All right, go ahead with it.
The election, actually the result, when the result came in, people were shocked and surprised because I don't know how best to put it, but the fact is APC in Kaduna has actually lost the ground. And you see, the violence that characterized the election was perpetrated by the APC. Now, there are many things that happen which the governor himself might not know. I don't want to blame him, with the government, but the people who believe that, okay, this is an APC state, therefore APC must win, did wreak a lot of havoc in that election. So when the results start coming out, people were surprised because people knew whom they voted for and the party they voted for. Let me just hold it down.
Thank you, Johnson, for your contribution.
Which is the point. I didn't go to Kaduna, but at least my knowledge of our people remains. I didn't monitor the election, but I know that electronic voting machine for now is not the solution. Until we purge ourselves of this winner takes all syndrome, we will not make any headway.
All right. Okay. Moving on now. It was mixed fortunes for Nigerians living in the eye of insecurity storm, while the tragedy was abated at a mosque in Gashua, Yobe State. Those in Beningwari local government area in Kaduna State, not so lucky. Bandits attacked Magada village on Saturday and abducted 3 housewives in the presence of their husbands as the bandits became more daring in their attacks. The women and children are getting more vulnerable and the casualty rates becoming more alarming. Statistics available show that killings in Nigeria, Middle Belt, has bred 20,000 widows and orphans in the region. Gentlemen, this is alarming. It just started killings in the Middle Belt. Just putting that statistics together, it's so. Martin.
It's very, very unfortunate, you know, and this is the story that touches the heart every week, and it's a story that cannot be ignored by any responsible media organization. Tragedy. And talking about 20,000 widows and orphans in the region when we are not at war is another story, again, that threatens democracy. Because people have been wondering why this kind of thing should be happening. We have 20,000 widows and orphans in the region. We have so many internally displaced people's camps all over the country, and we are not at war. So how do we describe the situation? So it's a very, very unfortunate situation. Humanitarian crisis all over the place, even international organizations trying to visit IDPs, and we are going into election in a year that this kind of thing is not abating and it's escalating. We are recording more and more victims, casualties all over the place. Not only in the Middle Belt, you know, even these things happen all over the place now. It's not only in the Middle Belt, because even Kaduna, where this thing is happening, is no longer in that belt. It's now in Northwest, not to talk of what is happening in Northeast. So I think that it's something that should worry the government of the day, that you will have 20,000 widows and orphans in just one region, which is tragic. And I think that the earlier they begin to
quickly, the people of Gashua
deal with this one, the better.
Those guys in Gashua, they were damn lucky.
Gashua.
Lucky.
Lucky, and we have to give it to them. They were vigilant.
Honestly.
Because when you see someone dressed inappropriately, in the heat, in the sweltering heat of the Northeast, and most parts of the North now, you see someone wearing overall, you should be worried, because he could actually have suicide belt beneath.
How do we know? Because some of them will come to with
you see, the thing is,
full hijab, full one.
There must be women who will subject such people to scrutiny. The hijab should not insulate anyone against checks. In Chad, the percentage of Muslims in Chad is compared to other religions is higher than we have in Nigeria. There are more than 90% Chadians. More than 90% of Chadians are Muslim. But they make sure that, look, a man's or a woman's choice of a dress does not permit that person to take the lives of other people. So there should be women who will search you as you approach a mosque or even a church. There should be women who will search you. Our people relaxed. That was why the killing, the bomb attack in Mubi that killed many people, it was down to the fact that our people have relaxed. Because the guy who carried out that bombing should have been spotted, because he was wearing heavy clothing in extreme heat. So they should have been surprised and pulled him to one side to subject him to a check. It could still eventually kill people, but at least it won't kill that number of people. And then when the first bomb goes off, what we do is we rush to try to assist people. That's usually when they set up the second. And it is the second that usually kills more people. The second bomb attack. So the people of Geshua, they did the right thing.
She was trying to
they were very smart. They did the right thing. And this is what must continue. You can imagine in Borno State the other day, a girl who wanted to avenge a wrongdoing by her dad went to the mosque where the dad prays with bombs wrapped around her body. He went there and she ended up killing so many people. So people should be searched thoroughly. Even if you are a woman, you want to walk towards where men, the mosque that men use, they must pull you aside, because you don't have to go there to pray. What's your mission? So if we become more vigilant, some of these bomb attacks by Boko Haram, we'll be able to foil. We'll be able to foil.
And these areas, we are looking at the casualty rate now in the Middle Belt, and a lot of these people, like Benue now, is an agrarian area. They will always go to their farms. They would need a lot of, they'll do a lot of farming and everything. Yes. So how do we go about compensating those people for what they've lost?
Well, definitely that is another question. I hope the answer is not blowing in the wind. The Vice President just visited some of the areas and they pledged 10 billion naira worth of assistance to the people. But management of the money is another thing. But you know, right now, I don't know what 10 billion is going to do to compensate people who have not been able to attend to their farming operations and whatever that they have left. All those people that they have not been able to go to farm, how they are going to share schools disrupted. School destroyed, education disrupted, farming disrupted, everything in the area. And the implications will not emerge now. The implications will come next year when they are supposed to be harvesting. What they have been harvesting, you know, Benue State, fruit basket of the nation, they call it. Yeah, if you visit the area, you know, everywhere you go, you find this thing, but in most of the local governments now, including the local government of the chairman, of the governor himself, under siege.
Okay, let's quickly take Ibrahim. Ibrahim is calling us from Kaduna State. Thank you for joining us, Ibrahim.
Thank you. Good evening, journalist Hangout.
Good evening, Ibrahim.
Yeah, I promise you, honestly, you people are doing a wonderful job. We are really enjoying your program. I want to contribute on one or two of your topic today.
All right.
I want to start briefly with Kaduna election.
Okay.
You see, that very particular election, I'm surprised the governor is crying foul that she lost so many things. You can't win election in Kachia. You can't win election in Kafanchan. APC cannot win election in Sanga. These are Christian-dominated areas. And you know what is into Kaduna State, in the northern election. It's based on religion. I want to tell you this. I'm a Muslim, but most election in northern state is based on religion. So you cannot win election in those areas. I wonder why the governor is crying foul. Then I want to contribute on this killing. It's quite unfortunate. Yes. Honestly, it's quite unfortunate. When you go to Benengwari, that road now, nobody can pass that road again. Look at what happened in Giwa just yesterday. Some people were shot. Just a gentleman that is struggling for his own life. Just newly married, he was shot in that Giwa road. See, what is happening in this north, honestly, is getting out of hand. Thank you. I want you please to speak with loud voice so that please the government should do something.
Thank you, Brian, for that beautiful contribution.
I think that the matter of Benengwari is a big problem for our country. And just as I said the other day, I think the governor should do his best, work with the federal government to solve this problem. The forest where these people hide stretches from Niger State to the boundary of Zamfara and Kebbi State. So you have a forest covering 5 states. So where are you? They can hide.
Another Sambisa.
It's just like another Sambisa. Sambisa too covers 7 states. This one is 5 states.
5 states.
And if you know the distance between Benengwari and Zamfara is very far. Yet there's a foliage, you know, for these guys to hide. That's why it's difficult for our armed forces to track them down. There's nothing, if you know how Northerners take the sanctity of their wives, there's nothing that can be worse than for bandits to come, take away the wife of a Northerner in his presence. I mean, this is getting out of hand.
Anybody. In the north or in the south.
Let me tell you, I know what I'm talking about. I was born in the north. In the south here, you don't see Bashiga anywhere. But if you go to Kaduna, you can't just walk into their compound and have access to their wives. That's why you see Bashiga. So if you want to talk to someone, you can send a little girl that goes inside. That's why I'm talking about sanctity. Sanctity. Not that the rest of us don't value our wives. We all value our wives. But women, in the north, people place so much accent on the sanctity of their wives.
All right. It's a season of unending drama in Nigeria. This morning, Nigerians were treated to another dose of theatrics right in the courtroom. Former National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Olisametu, collapsed in court in Abuja when his case over alleged money laundering of 400 million naira was called. But an unmoved trial judge, Justice Okon-Abang, went ahead with the resumed trial. Justice Abang waved off the incident, describing it as a mere delay tactics by Olisametu. You can see the visual of Olisametu there. Wow. Jide? Justice Okon-Abang.
You see, it's difficult to watch what is going on. It's difficult to watch what is going on. I think that the law does not say that a person who is not medically fit should be allowed to go through the rigors of trial. I don't think that is what our law says. And in the past, other judges have allowed people who are ill to get Medicare. So I don't know why this case is different. We must have a situation in which people can go to, even the former NNPC GMD, that they found money in his house. He was ill and he was allowed to go and take care of himself. Because what the law says is that the accused is presumed innocent until he is found, found guilty. So the way it is now, even this man, in the eye of the law, is still innocent. But if he's not strong enough to face trial, and Nigerian health facilities, including even the National Hospital, have said, yes, he's healed. He has spinal injury or something. Then he has to be fit to be able to face trial. If a man who is not fit is brought before a judge, who is not medically fit, is brought before a judge, and because he is not medically fit, he mistakenly pronounces himself guilty. If in the fullness of time it is discovered that maybe he had insanity, or insanity played a part in the statement that he uttered, it will vitiate the judgment. That's what the law says. So I think that Elusametu should be allowed to treat himself sufficiently and then come and face trial. Yes. I don't enjoy seeing someone being brought to court on a stretcher. It's embarrassing.
But some people will say, is this not another Dino Melaye kind of theatrics?
But even Dino Melaye's kind of so-called theatrics, the chief judge of Kogi State said that the man should be allowed to treat himself.
Yes.
And they took him. He said he should even be transferred to National Hospital for treatment before the trial.
The law does not allow you to
also
face
granted
trial.
him bail.
Yeah.
Even though the other party did not want it, but the chief judge
of
the state, even in Melaye's case, said the man should be treated. You cannot be be
bringing a man to court on a stretcher. It's not done.
He wasn't happy with what the magistrate in Lokoja did concerning Dino Melaye. Whatever has a beginning must have, if the man is ill today, one day he will be fit to face trial.
Yes.
There should be humanity, humanism, or whatever you want to call it, in even the administration of justice.
Yes.
That I think the Nigerian Bar Association should be interested in what is going on, because one person cannot continue to say this is just theatrical, and for a judge to be saying that one in the courtroom, I think is what should get us concerned, because it is Olusametu today. It can be you or you tomorrow to face trial like that. Or even the president himself. When he is out of office like that, what are we going to say?
But people are saying, some people are of the opinion that, look, if everybody is coming to court and forming sickness, that I think what was Justice Okonabang was...
Is everybody who comes to court?
How many of us is looking at it that is this not an attempt to frustrate the main trial, which was about commencing?
See,
it will still commence.
Have the doctors not come out with a report that shows that it is indeed ill?
It's ill.
Have they?
But you know that we are beginning to witness...
A public hospital, not a private hospital.
We are beginning to witness a situation where...
What if he dies now?
The police and other agencies like that will be carrying people by force and by fire. Where there are even weightier matters of the law that they are not paying attention to. That this, this media issue, media trial... It's not good, even for democracy. That human right to enjoy certain privileges. Like he said, our own law situation presumes that you are innocent until you're proven guilty.
Yes, I know that Nigerians are very angry about the looting that took place when Olusemotu and others reigned supreme. But I'm more concerned about the bigger picture.
Yes.
I will never take a position without looking at the bigger picture. Because this thing now, what if this guy dies suddenly? We will now be blaming ourselves. Those of us who said he was acting.
Have to, yes.
Those of us who said he was acting. Because in the past, even me, I said, look, this thing, they should try this guy. But on second thought now, I'm asking myself, can anyone subject himself to this?
So this kind of situation like that?
And someone who was in court told me that the guy's slumping was spontaneous. So if he dies now in court, what do you think will happen? What do you think will happen? Will it dignify us as a country?
You know, this is a process. It's not an event.
Have you seen anywhere where they take people to court to face trial on a stretcher?
Trial is a process. You see, we are beginning to witness a situation where the lawyers who try to do something are arrested. Even the doctors who try to explain their own professional whatever in a situation are arrested. And I think we should be very careful in handling some of these things because we want to achieve certain end at a time like this.
I may not
should be very careful.
See, I may not agree that this guy, that he should be should receive treatment abroad.
Yes, but he can be treated here.
Yes, I may not agree that he should be treated abroad because maybe he will not come back or something. But they should let him have treatment. Let his situation improve before they bring him for trial. Because that's what the law says, that a person has to be fit to stand the rigors of trial. So are they saying that we don't have people who can treat him in Nigeria? We don't have doctors who can treat him? We are some of the best specialists now.
The problem we have with that one.
Let them treat him and let him be strong enough to face trial.
You know, the problem we will have with that is what we have been warning, that our leaders should organize our hospitals to treat our leaders. Because he can refer to what the president himself traveled abroad, the son of the president traveled abroad. This one have been traveling. Why can't I travel as a citizen?
I might not have the medical facility for
that kind of thing.
At the end of the day, who gave the instruction for him to release money?
Was it not the
former president?
Former president.
And we are not trying the former president.
He's talking about that.
Are we? The other day when I said someone said, if they arrest the former president, or the Avengers will start bombing oil assets.
It's an issue.
It's not seeing this man being brought on a wheelchair into the court room.
Yeah. I want to thank you, Martin Zaloja, for coming on the show. Yeah, thank you, Babajide Kolade Otoju. And that's it on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight until 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on all our other platforms showing on the screen. You can catch us on YouTube. That's youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.